That's I'm gonna say it.
Hello and welcome to the Cows Den podcast. I am Josh. With me, as always, is Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hey, we're a DILF now.
We are
34.
this way. Yeah, we are the Cows Den podcast. We talk comics, pop culture, nerdy shit. I don't have a whole lot in the way of comics. I've been slacking on my comics lately.
I love this shirt, by the way.
That
It's one of
shirt
my new
is
shirts, man.
incredible. I'm repping my Hogwarts
It's pretty
Gryffindor,
nice.
but dude, no, that shirt that's something else, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's badass. But yeah, so yeah, I usually start with the comic stuff. I don't have a whole lot, but I will cover a couple things. One big thing that happened. The Justice League died. Justice League issue 75 is the death of the Justice League. And if I'm being honest with you, I it was underwhelming. It was just nowhere near as epic as I was hoping for. And I think that's because they kind of crammed whatever they were trying to do into one story. And I feel like
Did they just split apart?
Split it out. So they're
Or did
fighting.
they actually die?
No, they die. Well, so they get ripped into, like, they show pieces of them falling off, and like, all of them go from, like, the layers. Like, it shows their outer body, then the skin, then the bones, then like, they all disintegrate.
Who are
it
they
was just
fighting?
sort of this thing where they're like, oh, so you guys remember how when we fixed the multiverse from death metal and all that, like, there were consequences, and now there's this dark bad guy. Oh shit, we're gonna fight him. Oh, now you're all dead. Like, it just kind of happened. Like, I don't know. It wasn't bad. It was an interesting read. It just was really a little bit underwhelming for me.
Yeah.
Especially considering you're killing the Justice League and you're making this huge deal about killing the Justice League, and then I don't know, it just felt a little underwhelming. Not bad. I still would check it out. Still say it's worth a read. I give it about a 7 out of 10 though. Like, it just didn't blow me away, I guess, the way I was hoping it would. Which, to be honest with you, deaths in comics nowadays kind of hard to, especially with the Justice League. You're gonna try to kill the Justice League. I don't think there's a person out there who believes that this is gonna last. And I think even the way they built it, it's kind of they're gonna come back. They're gonna bring him back. It's just a matter of time.
Well, I think the last death that I actually believed could have been a good death / permanent, which they undid anyways, was Captain America's death at the end of Civil War.
Oh shoot, yeah.
It's been that long since I believed that a death could actually last.
If I'm being honest, there is one that I'm wondering if they. I mean, it's been a while now, and they have not done anything about talking about bringing him back, and that's Alfred Pennyworth.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of those. Honestly, if they leave him dead, I'm not gonna hate that. Like, I'm not gonna, because I think he had a legacy type of run, and I think that would be a cool thing to kind of keep. Keep him dead. Anyway, this was a couple weeks ago. I read, well, not this past week, but last week was Nightwing 91, the next issue of Nightwing. He's teamed up with Wally West, Flash. They were fighting the KG Beast, who's the guy who messed up Nightwing at one point, shot him and made him forget who he was and all that. But they were fighting KG Beast, and to be honest with you, like, half of it is just watching Wally just beat the shit out of KG Beast and his crew, because he's just kind of like, it felt like Wally had some pent up aggression about what happened to Dick that he just let out on KG Beast. And he was like, there's this whole speech where he's like, I know you can't, as he's punching him, he's like, I know you can't hear me right now, but you messed up my best friend, and that doesn't fly by me, and all this and that. And it's just like, yeah, it was good. So it was cool. It was fun to read. And then there was this, what they did was they took KGB's, like, his phone, and contacted this group of assassins, or this assassin who's like the head of a group. Okay. The only way I could think is it's like John Wick. This would be the person who runs the hotel.
Okay.
Who can contact everybody to let them know, or not the hotel, but the people who run, like,
the comms,
put out the contracts. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Who put out everything.
Yeah.
And this was like one of those people. And so they got a hold of this person to, like, lure in a bunch of these assassins, and they use KG Beast to lure in that person, and then use that person to lure in this group of, like, all these assassins. And so they take out like 10 or 12 assassins, And so they do all that without being Nightwing. And so the whole thing is that like at the end of it, it was all like Blockbuster is like the main bad guy right now for this, and it's someone coming up to Blockbuster and being like, Dick Grayson's kind of untouchable right now. So they all went after him and they all got sent to jail. So he's kind of untouchable right now. And so he's like, so if you want to take him down, you're gonna have to do it yourself. And of course, Blockbuster's like, oh, that's no problem. We're gonna fuck him up. So but it was cool, man. It was fun. You got the Wally West stuff in there, and then you got the them chasing down that little assassin group. It was real cool to see them kind of trick everybody and capture a big old group of them. So the other comic one is actually Marvel, because I was interested in the fact that there's a new Amazing Spider-Man. It's another #1. It's another reboot. It's another thing. This was supposedly, what I didn't know when I started it was that it's post Devil's Reign, and it follows directly after that. That's when Wilson Fisk was mayor.
Yeah, and he left and everything. Yeah.
All kinds of shit goes down and all that. And I didn't know what had happened through all that. So it's like, for anybody who is newer to Spider-Man, this would not be a good starting point, because for being in Amazing Spider-Man #1, I was just like, hell, I'll pick it up and see how good it is. I was clueless through half of it. And half, if not more than half, of the whole issue is just everybody from Aunt May to Mary Jane to everybody telling Peter what a piece of shit he is. Like telling Peter, like, for whatever happened in Devil's Reign, like, I can't believe you're even back here. Why'd you even bother coming back to New York? Why'd you even bother doing it? So it's like whatever, everybody is just like putting him down through the whole issue. And I just can't help but be like, one, I have no clue what he did. I don't know what he did. And two, like, why would you start a new series like that? Which is everybody pissed off at him. Like, but again, I guess that's the point. It's him trying to do his inner solo thing. But I don't know, for somebody who was trying to have a jumping on point, not a good jumping on point. So it wasn't a bad story if you've been following, but if you haven't been following, don't jump onto it. That's it in terms of comics for me. Now let's see. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna mention something real quick, because I'm gonna mention it and float right past it. You showed me, and I've seen this before, but I never realized it was actually on anything. VelociPastor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a solid review here. I put 2 reviews here. I put realistic review and for hilarity review. So for hilarity, I give it a 5 out of 10, because even for hilarity, this is an hour and 10-minute movie, and I couldn't finish it. Which means my realistic was a 0.5. I give it a 0.5. The only reason I gave it the 0.5 was because I couldn't stop laughing at how horribly horrible it was. And I'm not just talking like one part of it is bad. Every single aspect of the movie is bad. From the opening of the movie, I don't know if this is meant to be this way, and I don't know if it's like the finished product, but from the opening of the movie, this car blows up and it flashes to the priest. It's supposed to have his parents in the car. Flashes to the priest and he's all, no, and then it flashes back to the car. And instead of being on a car on fire, it just says VFX car on fire. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It just says VFX car on fire. And then, dude, I waited. I wanted to wait until I finally saw it. I had to see it. I had to see the raptor. I had to see the VelociPastor. It's like an inflatable fucking dinosaur thing. Like it's a stuffed animal looking dino. It is so bad. It's so bad. I could not even finish it. I got up to the point of seeing the raptor, laughed so hard, and turned it off. I could not stand it anymore. There was a point.
Did you watch any of the Sharknadoes?
I watched the first like 2, and then after that I was like, I mean, we're getting too hokey for my fun at this point.
Yeah.
And
so this is not comparable to those.
No, my God, like those were at least. I mean, they were funny, bad, but there was at least some fun and some funniness to it. Like this was okay. There's a point where it cuts to a scene, and it's clearly like in Ohio in the fucking woods by the fucking side of the highway, and the dude walks around and goes, China. And that's it. And then he keeps walking. That's all. That was the scene. Like, and I was just like, what is happening? Anyway, I couldn't do it. So Don't even try it. Don't even try it. It's so bad. It's so bad. But if you want to, it's on Peacock. Okay, so from horrible to I'll switch it over to something good, man. Barry. I don't know if you watch Barry on HBO Max.
I do. I've not, but
man.
I've not watched the new season start yet.
Yeah, season 3 just started up with episode 1 on last Sunday. The new episode's gonna be tomorrow. But
Such
yeah,
a good show,
dude. And season 2 had the best episode, which was the one with the little girl. I don't remember what it was called, what the episode title was, but it's the one with the little girl and she like bites him on the side of the face. Nuts. So yeah, season 3 episode 1 kicked off last week. Picks up right where season 2 left off, but he's having a lot of like internal conflict stuff. It's cool. You kind of get caught up on everybody's story. I don't want to spoil too much. I don't know. Do you remember what happened at the end of season 2? And do you mind if I kind of spoil any of that?
Go ahead. No.
So if you haven't watched Barry yet, I'm going to talk major spoilers here. So if you haven't watched it, it's on HBO Max. I'd say fast forward just a couple minutes or so. But season 2 ends with Henry Winkler's character finding out who Barry is. It's
I remember that,
because what's his name? He's like goes up in his ear and he's like, Barry Berkman did this. And so in this episode, he gets ready, man. He gets a 6-shooter, fills it up. He goes to confront Barry, and he's sitting there. He brings Barry to him, and he's sitting at a desk, and he's all like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, or you're gonna turn yourself in. And then he goes to pull up his gun, and the gun's a piece of shit and falls apart. All the bullets fall out. And so Barry's now sitting here, like, I don't want to do this, man. I don't want to, I don't want to. And then he kind of comes up with this, instead of killing you, I'm gonna help you. I've got an idea to help you. And that's where it ends. So it kind of seems like Barry's trying to take like a turnaround in terms of killing people and see if he can't like reconcile for it in some way. So it was a good episode, man. It was funny. It was solid. Good acting, always good acting, but it was good to see Barry back, man. I missed Barry. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, okay. And then I think it was Moon Knight, which you said you don't mind me talking spoilies, sir. Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
So we're talking episode 4 and episode 5 that you haven't watched. And episode 4 and episode 5 have been the best 2 episodes of the show, dude. I'm talking like the show went from good to holy shit in those 2 episodes. Like,
okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you get to see Moon Knight again in either one of those episodes?
So you see him, but he doesn't do anything. Like, you don't see him in action.
But you do, okay, because
you don't see him in action, but you see him.
There was a rumor going around that after the first episode that you don't see Moon Knight at all.
Okay? Well, let me get to it real quick. Then episode 4 is they get to a tomb. They're looking in a tomb for this ancient dude. He opens up the dude. I don't want to spoil too much. You're talking about spoilers. Fuck it. Go ahead. It's episode 3. They both get there. Mark and the bad guy Ethan Hawke's character. They both get to the tomb at the same type of time. They get whatever they're trying to get, but then Ethan Hawke turns and fucking shoots him, and he gets popped right in the chest. And as he falls backwards, he kind of got everything goes white, and he wakes up. He wakes up. Mark wakes up in an insane asylum. And I don't know if you remember, like, I had one of these covers. It was the one where he's in an insane asylum. That's one of the only like series that I actually followed of Moon Knight for a minute. But yeah, he wakes up in an insane asylum. So he wakes up obviously in there. And of course, like, I don't mean to say like this was kind of predictable, but to me a little bit it's got that like 12 Monkeys kind of vibe. They got the doctor, Ethan Hawke is now the doctor. And Ethan Hawke is saying, you've created this alternate reality with this Moon Knight character and with this, and this and that. And so of course he's trying to convince him like it's all fake and whatever. And then so he runs away and runs into one of the rooms only to find, because you're with Mark right now. So he runs into one of the rooms only to find Steven in there, split. So they are officially like split in this place. So now Steven and Mark run out of the room, and at the end of the episode is a fucking giant hippo who's just like, hello, and then that's the end of the episode. So then, dude, I gave that episode.
They're in the afterlife.
I gave that episode 8 out of 10. You don't know anything of that. So I gave the episode 8 out of 10. because it was good hard stuff. It was normal. I don't know. I think it didn't. The Insane Asylum didn't shock me because I kind of like I was when I saw it, I was kind of like, oh shit, that's cool, but it didn't really like necessarily shock me. So I give it an 8 out of 10. It was good though. Episode 5, however, episode 5 to me, I gave a solid 10 out of 10. I thought was one of the best fucking 30 minutes I've ever watched.
I thought it was an hour. Is it 30?
Whatever it is.
Okay.
One of the best episodes I've ever watched, man. Gotcha. It was start to finish. They're in the Insane Asylum. He's still snapping back and forth between he's talking to Steven, but then he'll snap back into Ethan Hawke, and Ethan Hawke's, tell him it's all fake, and then he'll snap back into Steven and all that. And so it's like you're starting to question, like, what parts of it are real, what parts of it aren't. And then the hippo is says she's this Egyptian goddess who's there to. She's like, yeah, I'm sorry to inform you, but when you got shot with the gun, you died. I'm here to help you into the afterworld. And he's like, oh, great. So Mark is actually starting to sit here like, you know what? I'm fucking crazy. I think I'm crazy. This is stupid. Like, this is stupid. I'm crazy. And then they walk out, and sure as shit, dude, they're on this boat in the middle of this giant sand, sailing through the sand as if it were like an ocean. And it's the afterlife. It's them sailing into the afterlife. And her thing is that they can't pass through to where they're trying to get through until they balance their scales. So she takes their hearts out, puts them on the scale, puts the feather on the other scale, and it's all wonky because she's like, well, you guys need to figure out what the hell's going on before we get there, and you got to balance out your scale. Tell each other everything, make sure figure out why you need to balance it. So then the whole episode is them going through Mark's memories to try to get Steven to figure out what they need, because Steven like runs off and goes crazy. And not crazy, he runs off and goes AWOL and starts running through Mark's memories. Are you sure you don't mind me talking all of it, man? Because I'm kind of talking the whole episode.
So no, because it got ruined for me because I was told that there's a possibility that Tony Stark's Iron Man can be brought back because of this episode having to deal with the afterlife. That you can run into Tony Stark there, and because of what happens, could be brought back. But go ahead.
Yeah, they're in the afterlife. They're running back through his memories. Dude, it's fucked up, man. You see that, like, the whole reason Mark is who he is because Mark had a younger brother. He took the younger brother up to this little cave that they always like to go to, but they went up there when it was raining, and the younger brother drowned. And it wasn't even so much that, like, it's sad that when that happens, but the most depressing shit is after that, man. Because
before you go any further, do you find out that his mom doesn't exist? So that he's been calling a random number.
What happens is because he killed his little brother, man.
He killed him?
He didn't kill him. He took him up there, and the kid accidentally drowned. I'm sorry, because the kid died. The mom just loses it and starts saying, like, how could you do this? How could you kill your brother? And blames him for it. And throughout his life, beats him for it and abuses him for it and blames him over and over and becomes this drunk, abusive nut of a mother. And so Mark decides he can't deal with it anymore and creates Steven. And that's what you find out, is that Steven is not real. And Steven is only there because he wanted to block out the fact that his mother beat him and was abusive.
I thought in the comic.
And so he told, I have no idea about the comic.
I thought in the comic, Steven was an ex-Army Ranger that got killed.
That was Mark. Mark was the ex. Yeah.
Okay, so Steven never existed.
So you started from Steven, but Steven never existed. You started the show from Steven, but Steven was never real.
So it's all Mark.
It's all been Mark the whole time. Mark
the
just shuts himself
Ranger.
off. Yeah. Mark just shuts himself off when he doesn't want to deal with things. And that's when Steven will wake up and be like, oh, shoot. Well, I don't know where I am again. Oh, well, So that's what you find out, is that Steven was never real. Steven was the one that got made up, the British one. He was the one that got made up. And that's why. And so he found out that the whole reason that their lives started blending together was because he couldn't take it anymore, because like 2 weeks prior, his mom died. And that was the point where he went to the funeral and he couldn't take it anymore. And so that's when he split when he normally wouldn't have split. And then that's when their lives started blending together. He goes, but that's why he has kept him with the delusion that his mom was a loving mom, that his mom would talk with him. What kills me is I don't know who he's talking to then. Like, I know that since she's been dead, he's been like, "Oh, sorry, I got your your
maybe it's her
again."
yeah, maybe it's her voicemail.
Okay,
maybe it's her voicemail.
But who was he talking to before? He's because like, has he ever gotten a hold of her? He's just never gotten a hold of her.
Yeah, I'll bet that like,
because it seems like, because the whole point is when he first snaps him back in, he's at the funeral and he snaps back in because he doesn't want to be there. He's walking away, and then he kicks up and he's like, "Oh, hey mom, yeah, how's it going? Oh yeah, I don't know where I am anymore. Yeah, I just get turned around all the time." So it's like he's talking to her, but I wonder if he's just in his head and he's not actually talking to her. Either way, yeah, Steven's fake, dude. But then the big kicker at the end is that they get to the end and they're still not balanced. So the underworld, like demons, or it's the zombies of the dudes that he had killed, ironically, which is crazy. It's like the dead bodies of the dudes that Mark has killed throughout his life. They start climbing up onto the boat and try to bring him down. And then Mark almost eats it, and then Steven goes to tackle one and takes him over with him. Steven goes down and gets taken out down into the sand, and then he's now trapped in the underworld forever, at least until they can figure something out. But yeah, Steven's gone.
And so, like, that's a theory that Tony's they could always say that he has unfinished business and could bring him back. So,
right, and I mean that's entirely possible too, and that's it's created a whole thing because it's like,
you bring anybody back now.
What happened? What happened with the snap? Like when they snapped, what happened down there?
They all go down there,
right? Like what happened down
and
there?
Nobody remembers it,
right? You know? I don't know. It does create. I mean, this is the problem that Marvel kind of has now. It's not their fault, but it's like at this point, any future story they write, they have to be like, well, shit. How do we not address it earlier? You know, like, and unfortunately, it's like now everybody's calling them out on that on every fucking movie, and I can't help but be like, okay, but that's the point. Like,
so no. Story. I think that they could use the snap to create characters. Use the snap to bring characters out that they didn't bring out before. The only problem I had was with the Eternals. Why that'd be like if Miss Marvel just decided to never show up in Infinity War, or
I get that, but it's also I guess what I'm getting at is like, even in this one, everybody's like, well, how did they not take notice with Moon Knight's fucking rewinding time for everybody? He rewound it like 1,000 nights or whatever, and even everybody in the city was like, oh shoot, that's crazy. So it's like everybody had to have seen that. So like, where the hell were the Avengers?
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Do we know for a fact, is there anything that's happened in the past few episodes, because I know there wasn't anything before, that proves that this is in the same timeline as the MCU?
Oh, I don't know.
So that's what I'm saying.
Has actually connected it in any way?
So if it's not connected, it doesn't matter. Like that Thanos never existed in this universe.
I don't know. I know
Sony's done it, you know.
Right.
So I mean, Sony's done it. Marvel could simply say that Moon Knight's working outside of, or is in a different universe, because they're opening up all these universes. You know, I don't know
if they have tied it in at all. I feel like I don't know that they have.
And I thought you had said that they initially had said like this is its own standalone thing.
It was supposed to be, but it's supposed to be like lightly connected to it, apparently. Okay. Like loosely. It's like not meant to be directly, but loosely connected to it.
Right. Well, and I mean, you know, I think that I don't think I'm going to have any issues like that going forward with Thanos and the snap. The only thing that I had was the Eternals, because I just something that powerful.
Right. I get
the whole reasoning is the more humans you have alive, the more powerful the Celestial will be. It's their batteries. Why would they just half of them die?
Let half of them die. Yeah, I get you.
So, but outside of that, like I'm not gonna, but I do know there's a lot of fucking people out there that are comic book nerds are just like any other nerds, where they think that they know everything, and
I got an
everything has to
argument
be
with somebody,
perfect.
and I want to say I am a lover of Lord of the Rings. I love Hobbit. I know you are not the hugest fan of it. I understand how they can get kind of well. I'm saying you're not like a huge fan.
I'm
You don't
not a
hate
huge
it or anything,
fan.
but you're just not a
No,
huge fan of it. I'm
no.
just saying, like, there was a thing the other day of like, you know, how Elon, they've been throwing those memes around where it's like, now I'm buying this and doing this. Now I'm going to buy this and
Yeah.
do this. It was like, now I'm going to buy Tolkien's estate and run only, or make sure you only run by the source material from now on, or something like that. And I was just like, but that's boring to me. Like, I don't get me wrong. I love that. I love that you like to stick to the source material, but it's like they've done those movies. We've seen the Hobbits, we've seen the Lord of the Rings. If they want to expand on the original universe, what the fuck is the problem with that? And to me, it's always like that with like comic book movies too. It's like you could follow it to a T, but to me, sometimes that's boring. To
So
me.
I will flip one thing about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
what's up? What's up?
Think about all those like people who watch the original trilogy and are like, "Oh, you should have just kept it to the first three movies. Should have kept it to the first three movies." You know, so like I agree with you,
Right.
but anytime that you're going to get an argument back, it's going to be, look what they did to Star Wars. And it's like,
Well, what do you mean? Like, I guess I don't get what you mean. Like,
for
because let's look at this right here. Let's look at Mandalorian. Yeah, it took the source material, but it is not running
I'm not talking about
off the source
Mandalorian.
material. Okay. I mean,
I'm talking
okay.
about I'm talking about the diehard, or like 50, 60
Oh,
year old
I get
Star
what you're
Wars fans
saying. Okay.
that go, they ruined the trilogy by making the three before and the
Right.
three after. And
Right.
so it's like it'd be nice to expand the universe
Right.
as long as it's within
Within
certain
the realms, within certain realms.
parameters.
And I understand that.
That
That's
I
my point is
understand.
I
That
feel like it
argument I
should be
understand.
within certain parameters, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be word for word, in my
No.
opinion. Not always
No.
anyway.
No.
A lot of times, sure, but like not always. I
I
don't know.
mean,
I'm trailing off real bad here.
well, my second favorite, it's arguably one of my, if not the favorite, my second favorite Marvel movie actually destroys my favorite Hulk storyline, and I actually like it.
Planet
And that
Hulk.
being, well, yeah, Thor
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
that Planet
Planet
Hulk
Hulk
took
and World War
such a
Hulk,
back burner in that story. Like the
right?
idea of Planet Hulk, the story itself, took such a back burner.
And
It
I
was just
actually
sort of
liked it.
right,
And
right,
I actually
right.
liked it. You know, so
He played it
it's one
together
of those
so well.
things
Yeah.
that I do contradict myself sometimes, where I'm like, you know, I love Thor Ragnarok. I can't stand WandaVision, you know, but
Oh,
it's
because Thor Ragnarok goes so far, but you don't like that WandaVision goes so far. I get it, but I
right.
get
And
it. There's
so,
different levels of it too, and it's a
yeah,
matter of, dude. That's what I'm getting at. To me, I never care if you change anything as long as you do it well enough. If
yes,
any
yes,
story is told well enough, I don't care. I don't care.
yes,
And that's what I feel like people just tend to forget is like that's the Mandalorian. It's
yeah,
different in the sense that like they didn't just do a Boba Fett show. They took a different Mandalorian. They took a different. They brought in a whole new Yoda, which was never a thing. Like they brought it. They took some of the source material, of course, but they didn't just make it. I don't know. I don't know. I felt like they made it their own thing, and that's I don't.
yes. That's why I appreciate the Mandalorian and like Clone Wars more than the original trilogy, or the prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy. I prefer better. I just
I
think
feel like we're
that
getting a
like,
little off track here.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was just, I was just trying to say, like, I get a little upset when people like are so hell bent on it being word for word, shot for shot. I get wanting to stick
right.
to the source material, but I don't like it being word for word, shot for shot every time. I feel like that gets boring. Anyway,
Sin City.
I'm watching a little bit. That was one. That's like the biggest example. But again, that's like the only real example. I don't mean to say that, but like that's the only real example where they stick true to true, and it felt so fucking good. It felt so good. Like, and that is true. Is that one? I will stand behind that too. It's like it's not to say it's always like that.
No. It's very hard to get it like that.
I've been talking. So I think the last thing I want to say was about I started watching some Tokyo Vice, and holy shit, dude, you are not wrong by any means. So number one, I'm not the hugest fan of Baby Driver kid. I loved him in the movie Baby Driver, but other than that, I'm not the biggest fan of him. And Insel Eric something, I don't remember his actual name. It's like Insel or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not the biggest fan of him. I don't hate him. I just feel like a lot of the movies he does are those cheesy, corny romance type movies.
Ansel Elgort.
Ansel Elgort that I'm not really into. He's a good actor. I just don't really care for his movie genre per se.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that said, man, holy shit! Like this kid is killing it in the show, and it's not like
the dude from Godzilla. Ken
Nakamura, I think is his name, and
so.
But the kid speaks fluent Japanese, like, and he is good at it. But yeah, dude, it is solid. It is solid. Like
it is. And me and Josh were talking before, but like it's not something that you can just listen to.
No, but
you've gotta watch it to really understand what's going on. And like 80% of it's,
but what's
dialogue.
Funny, man, is I started it with the sense of I'm gonna pop headphones on because you told me that. I am gonna turn something on. And I was like, but I'm gonna kind of like, do my thing. But like I couldn't. I was sitting here just like dude, it was good. It's a good show. It's good, solid. What's weird is like for it being such a slow burn, it never feels slow. It never feels like it's uninteresting. It never feels like it's.
It feels like to me that it's a Scorsese driven drama film noir
that stays consistently. Like you're there, you feel, and dude, you talked about this. You're like, it makes you feel Tokyo, and like, dude, I don't think I've ever really watched something that makes you feel Tokyo. Like you feel like you're in that like enclosed tight space with all this loud stuff and all these people all around you, like, because Tokyo is like that. You're cramped, you're busy, it's loud. And yeah, dude, you really get that feeling watching it.
And they released the last episode of the first season. I'm not going to give you spoilers, but
I only watched 3, so you spoiled a little bit for me, and that's totally cool, but because I was totally cool with it. But like, let's stay away for just for a minute. We'll talk about it like maybe next episode or whatever.
So but I will say that there's in my opinion, Josh, I cannot wait until you see that last episode, because in my opinion, the best cliffhanger I've seen since the season 6 last episode of The Walking Dead, where you see Negan at the very end and you don't know what's going on, who he's killing. And that says a lot, man, because like I'm normally not like, did that just fucking happen?
Right.
It's
that's awesome. Yeah.
There's 3 storylines. You've got the girl, you've got the reporter, and then you've got the cop.
Oh, okay. So they kind of follow him more, because they haven't really worked. So from what I've seen so far, it's like, so from what I've seen so far, it's been the girl and the reporter. The reporter's like meeting the cop, and they're starting to talk and they're starting to hang out. But I haven't really gotten a whole lot of
Nakamura.
Nakamura.
Yeah. They start following him. His end of the season might be the best,
dude.
I've
I made the mistake of saying I didn't care, because it's like the actual idea of the story, which we've talked about it, so I'm gonna talk about it again, was the fact that they're like pulling out life insurance plans on these people and then having them kill themselves so that they get paid out for it, right? Which is
because of shame,
and
because of shame, and that's something that's huge in Japan.
And it's I think I just love the overall concept that nobody's trying to stop the Yakuza. Nobody's trying to end the Yakuza. Everybody there understands that you don't stop them, you use them. You use one for another. You use the smaller ones to get the bigger ones. That's
and
awesome.
And I don't know how far you're into it, but basically they're like, this Yakuza is not doing that kind of stuff,
right? And
isn't violent, doesn't deal drugs and all that stuff.
He may be Yakuza, but he's not right. He's not one
better
of
And so and also
peaceful.
I guess there should be
peaceful.
there's four storylines, because you've got the young Yakuza that's
that guy,
in that world,
who's having some ED problems right now. from what I was watching.
No,
I thought
that's
he was,
that's the other big Yakuza guy.
but he's
The
like
guy.
he just beat the shit out of somebody. When in the last episode I watched, he beat the shit out of somebody because he was talking trash about his white girl friend.
Oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, no, that is him. That is
Yeah,
him.
he's
That is
he's
him.
got he's having some ED problems. I thought, wasn't he? Because he's like he's
I
all
thought
kinds
that
of
was
like,
the other dude.
no.
Maybe.
Okay, so the other guy's the older guy, and I think yeah, he's older and is having some. He's gotten to get all checked up and everything. I remember that. I'm talking about the younger guy because I thought he was
I
also
know.
like,
Yeah.
because he's having personal shit. He can't cope with whatever's going on. He's like having trouble with everything from what I can
Yeah.
tell. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But
dude, I
dude,
can't get over it. I'm hooked. I'm hooked. It's fucking great.
I
A lot
cannot
of fun.
wait. Like I know it's a long process because each episode's like an hour long, but once you get
And
that done, dude, I want to talk to you.
that's the one thing that sucks about it is like because I have to pay attention to it. It's a hard thing
Yeah.
to keep up with. But
Yep.
man, if you know Japanese, if you like Japanese shows, I mean, if what's weird is
Culture,
I am
Japan.
not even into. I'm not a big noir guy. I'm not a big detective story type guy. I mean, I loved how they did it in the Batman, but like that's about the extent of my detective shows. I don't watch detective shows, like
Yeah.
I never watched True Detective. I never watched Mindhunter. It's just never been my genre, and I'm not downing it or anything. It's just never been my thing. But dude, I cannot stop watching the show. And a big part of that is because I love the Japanese culture. I love Tokyo. I love all that stuff. And you really get that in this show.
And that's why I recommended this to you because I
Yeah.
feel like if there's one that you could get into, it'd
Yeah.
be this.
Oh yeah, and it's been a blast to watch, man. I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
But dude, speaking of True Detective, there's another show that came out. I've watched the first episode of. It's called Under the Banner of Heaven. It's the new
Garfield, yeah.
Andrew Garfield show. Yeah. They've got 2 episodes out, I believe, right now. 2 episodes. And I'll say this, man, like if you were a fan of True Detective, at least the first season, the other, I'm a fan of all of them. Let me say that. But if you were a fan of the very first season of True Detective, this show is for you. Andrew Garfield does a very good job. He is basically a Mormon police officer, and he has like the first murder in the history of this town. And it's got religious undertones all over it. So they're trying to figure out somebody brutally murdered a young mother and her like 15-month-old child.
Oh shit.
Like decapitated the 15-month-old child's head off. Yeah. It's
nice.
it's
I mean,
it's
not nice, but
yeah,
nice.
it's pretty, yeah. So
Brutal.
like if you watched True Detective season 1, I feel like you would really, really like this. Now,
I remember watching the first season, but I think that's about all I've seen.
now I will say that there's one more show that I started, and I forgot to talk about this beforehand, but Josh, could you tell me the shows that really started the idea that you could have a drama series be huge? And think HBO. There's really 3 shows that started.
The Wire, Sopranos, and I don't know what else.
Oz was really like
Oz. No, Oz was huge. Yeah, Oz was huge.
It was, yeah.
When it was out, it was huge. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Oz was actually the first one, and then it bled into Sopranos and The Wire.
Yep.
So a new show came out with John Barenthal. I love John Barenthal. I will take all of John Barenthal all day long. It's called We Own This
Johnny
City.
B.
Dude, hey man, him is
oh my god, no, he's the Punisher. No, he's
yeah.
Yep.
But tell me when you're watching, I'm getting sidetracked, but tell me when you're watching that you don't hear Shane when you go,
yeah.
It's like, dude, that's Shane.
What is that? His like woofing in general is just hilarious to me sometimes. It is.
Yeah.
But dude, you can tell he's fucking pumped, like that's his thing. He's fucking, he's ready to go. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that Daredevil
that Punisher scene, Daredevil scene for the Punisher is one of the
prison.
best. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So anyway, so We Own This City came out. It's set in Baltimore. The producers of The Wire are making it. It's straight up right now. One episode in reminds me so much of The Wire,
okay.
Which was such a great fucking show.
I think it's the guy who did The Wire, isn't it? That what you said?
It's the producers, yeah.
Producers, yeah.
So It follows a dirty cop and John Barenthal. In the first episode,
With
he
a
gets
fucking
arrested.
ridiculous haircut.
Yeah, in the first episode, he gets arrested for being dirty.
Okay.
It follows some dealers, a good cop, and then a district attorney or like a federal attorney. Basically, it's centered around and I'm sorry, I cannot remember the guy's name. Somebody got, oh, it's a guy, I think it's the guy who got put in the paddy wagon after getting hit in the head and died in transport
Shit.
in real life.
Right. I
In
don't know who you're
Baltimore.
talking about, but I
I
think I
can't
remember that
remember.
story.
I'm
I think I
pretty
remember
sure
that
that's
story.
the guy that's why this show is made. It's following the events of
Okay.
that. And then
Okay.
there was a riot after the news came out about it. And so this show follows after the riots.
Okay.
Police arrests are down like 65% because nobody wants to get,
Shot.
fired. Well, nobody wants to get fired.
Oh, okay. So they don't
because
want
getting
to.
caught
They
on
don't want to arrest
camera.
people because they don't want to fucking get in trouble for arresting people, basically.
Right. And so
They're
it
doing their job.
follows right now in that just one episode
Because everybody's bad.
really
Really.
really crazy dynamic of like dirty cops, good cops, drug dealers, attorneys, like the district attorneys.
Like
District attorneys trying to stand up against dirty cops and for the people. The good cops are trying to get fentanyl that's killed like 6 people off the streets. The dirty cop who's been taking money from the drug dealers, and then the drug dealers themselves. So it's pretty crazy. It's I like that they're, rather than just creating this, which I love The Wire, don't get me wrong, but rather than creating like a false, it's set in Baltimore, but a false kind of time or whatever. They're going off of real world events and meshing them into this story. So
right. That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're a fan of The Wire, I would check out We Own the City. If you're a fan of True Detective season 1, Under the Banner of God, is fucking amazing. But by far, dude, if you are into really good dramas, if you like Japan culture, if you like just amazing writing, amazing directing, amazing acting, this show you have to put more time into because you can't just listen to.
Yeah.
Tokyo Vice.
There's a lot of subtitles, but it's worth it, man. The show is really good.
Tokyo Vice for me, 9.5 out of 10 for the whole series.
So far, I'd give it at least about an 8.5. But I mean, once I get to the end, I'm sure it's going up. But dude, I can't stop watching it. I love it.
Yeah, We Own This City. One episode in, I'd give the first episode solid 8. Under the guise of God or whatever the hell it is. Yeah. I'd give that a 9.
Under the Banner of Heaven.
Under the Banner of Heaven. There we go. I'd give that a solid 9.
Okay. Well, Garfield, I've never had anything against Garfield. I've always dug his acting. I just think sometimes he does some of the more artsy films that I'm not hugely into, but that's
me too.
Either here or there. But everything I've seen him in, I've always enjoyed him in. So
and I almost wonder if he is not as I'm sorry, but like I loved him in Social Network. I love his character.
Yeah.
I almost feel like he doesn't get a lot of props because everybody bashes the shit out of him. And I wonder if he would be at a different point in his career had he not gotten so much shit for Spider-Man. And I feel bad for that.
And it's messed up too, because I still to this day feel like it wasn't. He wasn't the problem with those movies.
No,
he wasn't the problem with those movies. He did what he did what he could do. I will admit that personally, I think through the first one, I didn't really like the Peter Gwen dynamic. I thought their uncomfortableness was a little too uncomfortable. Yeah. In the first one, I think it was. The second one, it was a little bit better, but in the first one, they were too like, oh hi, oh hi.
See, and I love, the reason why I love those movies, those two, is because of Gwen's dad,
Dennis Leary. Come on,
and the conversation he had with him as he was dying.
Yeah.
And then Gwen's death, I felt was just amazing. Like the problems in those movies are well known.
Right.
Blue Jamie Foxx, but
I love how even in the new one he's like, Did you get an upgrade? And then he didn't really say anything. He was just kind of like,
Yeah.
or something. I don't remember what he said, but it was just
Yeah. But like I thought Dennis Leary was amazing as Stacy's dad. I thought that dynamic was really cool, and that ending conversation they had. I felt like Gwen's death is still, in my opinion, the best comic book death. Even with Tony dying, I still say that Gwen's death scene is my favorite death scene
because
of
it
all
hit
the
different,
death scenes.
and because they did it. It's because, like, I'll be honest, man. I remember being in that theater. I remember her falling. I remember seeing the trailer that she was falling, and I remember being like, "This is it, dude," because she's supposed to die right here. I remember thinking that. I'm like, she's supposed to die right here. So they're either going to do this or they're not going to do this.
I didn't think they had the nerve to do it. Number one.
I didn't.
Number two, this is a callback. Like, I don't know if you know about Gwen Stacy and how she died in the comics, the story behind it.
Oh, I don't know.
So Stan Lee had just killed her father, and he was going on vacation.
Yeah.
And he told the writers, he said, "I don't care what you do, just don't mess with Gwen." And while he was gone, they killed Gwen, and he was pissed about it.
I mean, I would have been
so. It's like
shit.
But then what makes that death even better is No Way Home.
Right, of course. But it's just, and it was so good to finally, like, it was such a shitty thing. I get what happened. I get that Marvel stepped in and Sony and Disney and all that crap. I get that they had to reboot again. I get it. But it was such a shitty thing to have it end with Gwen's death and then never get anything else after that. You know?
Yeah. I felt like he deserved a third movie. I still feel like he deserves a third movie.
And it was so cool because they killed her, dude. They fucking killed her. And I remember that snap, I remember in the theater when that snap, I went, like, I straight up was like,
they killed her.
God. And then you see the blood coming out. It was like, because the blood's coming out like that or something. I just was like, oh my God, she's dying. Like, yeah.
I didn't before that, even though it's Sony, before that, I would have bet everything I own that they just didn't have it in them to do it. And dude, they did it, man.
No, and they did it.
That's the one thing I will give Sony involving Spider-Man. The one thing.
Yeah. So. But it was amazing. His obviously everybody knew his redemption was the best fucking thing about. And I hate to admit that because I love Toby. I'm a Toby fan, but I think they handled Toby's character perfectly because he's almost I'm almost to the point of being retired, like I'm kind of like chilling, he's the old man, slowing down. But he played it perfectly, and him.
I think, in my opinion, Toby's best scene outside the funny scenes is him stopping Tom from killing Goblin.
Oh yeah,
and there's that understanding of dude.
Yep. Of like, no, bro, like, I get it. I get it. Yeah. But yes, of course, I mean, hands down, my favorite from that is I was in the bench. What is that? Is that a band? You're in a band? But they were both they were like so supportive. Like, that's awesome. What is that? Is that a band? You were in a band? Like, that's
so. Wait a minute. Do they just come out of your wrist or
right? Yeah, just out of the wrist.
Or Peter?
Yeah, no, but I just mean those little there was another one that they were I don't care, the spider, the fucking I was an Avenger was still just the best though.
Dude, that's what. Well, and I take that back. One of my favorite parts of Toby is when Andrew's like, "Man, you guys fight so many cool guys. All I did was fight a guy in a Russian."
Like, I fought an alien,
right?
And I fought like a black alien guy or this black gooey alien guy. It's like, yeah, well, I fought an alien out in outer space. And it's like, you guys fought aliens. I fought a Russian guy.
And Russian guy in a rhino suit. Yeah. And Toby going, let's back up. You're amazing.
Yes.
And I was like, that's so
he's like, don't downplay yourself like that.
Yeah.
You were
because
awesome.
I feel like Andrew as a person got shit on so much for those movies. It was Toby going, no, you're fucking amazing.
Well, that movie kind of did that. It kind of brought him up. It kind of made him be like, dude, he didn't, he was a good Spider-Man. He got caught up in kind of a shitty universe, unfortunately. Yeah, dude. I think that is about it. The only thing I want to talk was some super quick hype stuff. Number one would be the Batman 2 officially confirmed. we all knew it was going to happen, but got to be hyped that it's officially confirmed. I want the Court of Owls. Highly doubt it's going to happen. I want, we can't jump to this, but I want Nightwing. I don't want Robin. I want Nightwing. So we can't jump to that without Robin. So I don't know how that would play, but those are the two things I would request. That's all.
Well, I went back and watched Batman. It's better than what I initially thought in theaters.
Okay.
There's still problems with it. I still stand by the problems that I had with it.
I do the one thing I stood by is the overly drawn out scenes.
Yes. Yes. Where you could have cut a half hour from this movie and been
just
fine.
in that, just from those. Sorry. Yeah.
Or change the scenes. Have that fucking Joker scene, and it made sense on why you had him randomly at the end. You know, I still have concerns, but
Yep.
I think it was better than what I initially thought.
Okay.
I'm concerned that they're going to go to Hush, and I don't want to see Hush yet. I'm going
to talk major spoilers on that because I'm trying to remember Hush, right? Wasn't Hush his brother, like his half brother or something?
I thought it was the Riddler. Wasn't it the Riddler?
Oh, I thought it turned out to be like his half brother.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. That's the thing. I feel like I want to go back through and reread Hush, but I thought it was like his half brother or something.
Okay, but like I think that Batman needs to be older to have Hush
before we get there.
Yeah. Same thing with Nightwing. I think Batman needs to be older to get to.
That's Nightwing. What still kills me is that I still think Robert should have been Dick. I still think Robert should have been Dick.
So I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he's like, "Dude, I did not like the Batman at all." And one of his major things was that he felt like they were all too young, that Catwoman, that Riddler, that Batman was too young. And I said, dude, so let me ask you something. Would this not have changed your mind on where you saw the film if rather than playing Bruce Wayne, Batman, it was Dick Grayson as Nightwing? He goes, absolutely.
Like, it would have been honesty, perfect. If they had kept it the exact same movie and just stuck him in there as Nightwing instead of Batman, I think I would have enjoyed it. I think I would have enjoyed it better.
Or even as Dick coming back for Batman Beyond, like let's say Bruce died and this is Dick taking over the mantle, or whatever.
Yeah,
right. But I think it would have made the film infinitely better. I agree because
it would have been an original story. It wouldn't have been another Bruce Wayne story. It being a Dick Grayson would have been so cool. Like,
and I think Robert is a way better Dick. I still
Robert.
Yeah, I don't think he's a good Bruce. I still, after watching that movie, he's just so fucking sad. I get it, dude. But like,
that is meant to be the idea. So I'm not mad at Robert for that.
No.
But it was written to be too stoic, too deep, too far. And it was not Robert's fault necessarily. Because I kept saying this. I'm like, when you take the fucking Twilight star and put him in a Twilight setting and tell him to act like a Twilight character, of course he's gonna look like Twilight. Like, of course it's gonna look like Twilight. It's not his fault.
No.
He did what he was supposed to do, and it didn't turn out well.
I felt like he was a very good young Batman.
I did too, actually. Yeah.
I think that as good as he was as Batman, he would have been a perfect Nightwing.
I think that's what I was about to say. I think even the character, even the way he thought and the way he was, felt more Nightwing. Like, it just felt more Nightwing.
Perfect Nightwing. And imagine if you had Ben Affleck come, like if he would have been the Batman
at
passing on the cowl,
end of that or something, and being like, "Thanks for taking over while I was out," or some shit like that. Like, that would have been cool. But like, no, dude. If it was Dick in any way, I think honestly, if you had coded this movie and done this movie the exact same way, but straight up called it Nightwing and had him dressed in a Nightwing outfit instead, but kept the exact same movie the exact same way, I think it would have been perfect.
Think about the way they fought. Like, think about him jumping off that balcony and using,
and that's a Nightwing style bout suit. Even it felt like,
him fighting in that first scene felt like it was more.
It was Nightwing's fighting. Yep, I wholeheartedly agree. I do. He was, but like you said, it's like he was a good young Batman, but he would have been a perfect young Nightwing, perfect Nightwing, not young Nightwing, just Nightwing. Yeah.
Like, imagine imagine if this is that movie, in my opinion, is Batman Beyond. That's
Right.
That's my
Terry
opinion.
McGinnis. Terry McGinnis. I could agree with him as Terry McGinnis. Even I could
Yeah.
take him as Terry McGinnis. I could honestly have taken that. I could honestly have taken that to be who the new, because he looks like Terry.
Or have Dick come back and take the cow. You know,
Either
however
way.
you wanted to spin
Either
it.
way,
Dude.
it was hard to take him as Bruce. That was the hardest part of the movie. That was the hardest part of the movie.
Not his fault, not Robert's fault.
Nope.
You know,
but it was 100% the hardest part of the movie.
Have you seen some of the like special effects that they did on what's his name as Batman or as Penguin?
Oh yeah. The various stages of it or whatever. Yeah. It was. It's a sight to behold, man.
I'll have to say, my favorite part still of that movie will always be, whoa, take it
what
easy,
yeah,
sweetheart.
Oh, I thought
take it easy, sweetheart.
What you showed me
His mannerisms, period. But
when he's
whoa,
like, isn't he like
easy,
killing somebody
sweetheart.
right next to him or something? Or he's just like,
like
hey,
a dead body.
what
He shows
you
visual a dead
showing
body.
me? Yeah. What are you doing?
I felt like he didn't get enough screen time.
No, and that's why their Penguin show is coming out.
I can't
sort of Peacemaker style, but it's Penguin.
I hope, dude, and I hope it's still Colin, right?
Yeah.
Fuck
I don't know who else is coming up. I don't know.
I
who
don't
else is
care.
showing up, but yeah,
I don't care. But like, and Danny DeVito even said like, "Oh, he did a great job."
And even again, I'm not the hugest Colin Farrell fan. I don't hate him, but I'm not the hugest fan, and he fucking killed it. He killed it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I hope they do. I hope the next villain is is Mr. Freeze.
So somebody mentioned one that I did think would be really good in this setting, and that was Hugo Strange. And I thought Hugo would be really good in this setting.
But here's the thing: if you do Hugo, you'd have to do Scarecrow, or Mr. Freeze.
I would say a Scarecrow and Hugo. I would say Scarecrow, Hugo in one.
The reason why I say the next movie should be Freeze is because you've got Penguin already that's starting to build up and be the main second villain, and then you have Mr. Freeze with him, and then the third movie do Scarecrow, Hugo.
Shit. I mean, that either way. I'm just Scarecrow and Hugo, I think, would be a good one. Because you could have him like meet both of them, you know, and it's like they both kind of tag team fucking with his head, you know. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we're going a little far here. I wanted to hype two more hype things. One is Ghostbusters. They announced officially there's gonna be another sequel to Ghostbusters, which
fuck yeah.
Okay, so on one hand, I think the last one would have been a good place to end it. I was actually really pleased with it, and I think it would have been a really good spot to end it. On the other hand,
I want more.
I'm always happy. I was about to say, on the other hand, I'm always happy for more Ghostbusters, especially with the direction they're taking it. With the way it's going. I felt, dude, we haven't officially got to talk about this. Like, it was, in my opinion, the perfect example of taking the old cast and blending it into a new cast. In my opinion, I like the requel or whatever they call it, where you try to bring in the old cast and try to transition into a new cast and all that. I loved every bit of it, and it was a sequel that I never knew I needed until I saw it. You know, like, and fucking it was perfect. Olivia Wilde as Gozer, dude.
Yes,
as Gozer. Tell me that was not one of the craziest fucking things. Like, she was fucking perfect.
Awesome. It was awesome. It was, it is by far.
So I'm all down for more. I'm all down for more. And then the last thing is actually just within the next week or two. I got my freaking dogs barking, so I apologize for that. It's in the next week or two is Warzone, the Godzilla versus Kong. I want to say it's May 11th or something like that. They're doing a big old event. I'm not sure exactly how much it's going to do, what they're going to do. What can we do? We're gonna hop in some choppers to try to shoot at them and some shit. I don't know. Or we're just gonna kind of stay out of their way. Like,
I don't know if I told you this or if you've seen this, but
I try to stay away from watching anything.
I'm done with Caldera, like, because they nerfed all the snipers. There's now 4 snipers or 4 or 5 snipers that you can headshot in one kill, and none of them are any of the good ones. Car 98's been nerfed. SPR has been nerfed. The what was the one that I used from Cold War? That was like the Car 90. No. SPR Car 98 were Modern Warfare. And then it was I
don't know. I don't remember the Black Ops one.
Not the Pellington, but the other one that I used. They've all been nerfed. There's literally, it's listen to this. It's the 3-lined sniper from Vanguard. the two way back Modern Warfare, HDR, and that other one, they're super slow. Yeah, and then from the
Bootsy.
Cold War, it's that weird looking last sniper with 3 rounds in it.
Yeah, I know
It's got
about.
those are the only ones that can one shot
That's a Pelican.
headshot kill somebody.
Okay, well, anyway, the Godzilla vs Kong stuff though. I think that'd be the only reason I would go into Caldera again, just because I want to see what's going on. I'm super.
Yeah,
I love it. I love the idea of it. Like, I know that it's a big, like, I don't know. People always bitch. You know, people always bitch. Like, oh, what the fuck? But like,
I think this actually looks cool.
Awesome. I always think it looks cool. I think the idea of I don't know. I'd love to Nakatomi Tower. I love having the Scream guy in there. I love when they just go off the wall with shit. I don't understand.
Snoop Dogg.
I don't understand when people are like, "Oh, you're taking the realism out of it." It's a video game. Shut up. You know, like we're all here just fakely shooting each other. So the moment we take it too seriously is when you get crazy. Anyway, that's it for the hype. One thing I wanted to gloat about is this guy right here. I finally got to meet my one of my dream writers. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if I've ever mentioned him on this show before.
Who's this guy?
James
JT.
JT Ford, both. That's 3, 4th. But yeah, dude, that was so awesome. We went to San Francisco. He had a signing, and dude, I got to talk with him for a little bit. He was super nice. He was super cool. I even kind of like asked him some advice on writing stuff, and he got talked to me for a minute. You know, it was so awesome. And in the midst of that, he was just like, he got to this, and I was like, yeah, I know you're not like the artist. I know you're the writer. You know, I did that, but I was just wondering if you would mind doodling something. He just kind of was like, yeah, sure. And as he was talking, he's like, it's not gonna be good. I was like, dude, I fucking love it. I love it.
That's
It's awesome. Yeah. So
super personal.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. I thought it was super cool. So and plus Adrian, my son, he loves one of his other books. It's called Wind. And so we took him up there, and he thought it was so cool. He got to meet him, talk to him, tell him how much he liked the story and all that. He got his actually personalized. It says to Adrian. So
nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then the other thing was that I officially started a new job on Monday, and it's in the industry that I've been dying to get into for a long time. I almost was into it once. I almost was into it once, and that kind of fell through. So this time, everything's locked and loaded. I'm starting on Monday, so
it's awesome, man.
Yeah, you're looking at a new bud tender at a dispensary, so it's gonna be fun, bro. So
just remember, don't spend your whole paycheck.
I don't think I'll have to, bro. They got samples. Anyway, so but that said, as always, if you guys are having any sensitivity on your penis, Roman wipes for your sensitive needs. So I actually looked this up. I'm going to do this real quick, and I'm going to totally try to plug them after the show. I actually looked up Roman wipes, and it is not just about erectile dysfunction. It's all about men's health in general. They're not just dick wipes. They're wipes for your life. No, but they have like vitamin supplements. They have all kinds of crap. It's not just dick. It's not just dick wipes. I know that's joking. I am shamelessly 100% going to plug them right now. Roman, I think it's getroman.com, actually, not roman.com. I think it's getroman.com. So getroman.com for all your dick wipe needs. That's our non-sponsor sponsorship. Thank you for that. Episode 34 of the Cows In podcast. You guys, thank you so much for listening. Matt, thank you for being a dickhole. And love you guys. Later.